Why do you hunt? I was asked this question recently, and I've been asked this question a lot in my life, but this most recent time I really thought about it deeper and more in depth than I normally do. And I just kind of wanted to share with you guys some of the reasons why I hunt and some of the responses that I gave to this question. Normally when people ask me, why do you hunt? I usually give them like a surface level, you know, basic answer like I love venison, or I just like being in the woods, or it's the only time I get peace and quiet. But this time I wanted to think deeper on it and really go to the core of why I hunt. And if you take away antlers and deer and family and traditions and guns and bows and equipment and all that stuff, you take it all that away and you strip it right down to the most basic level of why I hunt. I think that it's the only time in my life that I actually feel free. On some primal level, I feel like I'm alone out in the woods. It's quiet, it's peaceful, there's no distractions, there's no construction noise, there's no traffic, my phone's not ringing, there's no deadlines, there's nothing to worry about. And I think that when I'm in that state of being alone out in the woods, just surrounded by nature, everything that God's created, I feel free. And I think that that's what draws me at the most basic level. I think that's what draws me to the woods and draws me to hunt, is that I can just get out there with nature and try to match my wits against an animal that was created to be our prey, but to outwit us, outsmart us more than 9 times out of 10. And just the ability to do that and get away from this crazy world, this technologically advanced world we live in, where we're constantly surrounded by some sort of, like I said, noise or stressor or something to do, a schedule to maintain, time. I mean, to be able to put that all out of my mind and just be out there alone, like I said, quiet, chasing animals. I think that at the very basic level, that's why I love to hunt. I feel like that's the only time where I'm doing what I was created to do, not forced to do because of a job or a family function or, you know, something else that society says that we're supposed to be doing. And I think that that's the basic reason why I love to hunt so much. I don't feel any of that pressure. Aside from that, there's a lot of reasons why I love to hunt. Time with family. My grandfather got me into hunting. I was trying to think back too. I couldn't remember why I even started hunting or how I got so passionate about it. What hooked me, you know, what it was. But my grandpa is the one. He's always been a hunter, and so have my uncles and a lot of my extended family. But my grandfather was the one that I really watched and really looked up to and took after. And so he got me into it. So there's that family, that tradition, the family, spending time with family, and that tradition element to it that really draws me to love to hunt. And spending that quality time with loved ones, whether or not you're successful or not, it's like families that watch football or families that go golfing together or go on family trips to whatever beach. It's a tradition that I just love. I look forward to it, and I love it so much that's what I look forward to all year long. And you know, I know one day that those traditions and then that family time won't be there. So I love sucking up every bit of it that I can. Simple as getting back from hunting and everybody asking, what'd you see? You know, everybody telling what they saw, telling how the hunt went. And then when it comes to actually taking an animal, everything from tracking it to gutting it out, dragging it out, hanging it up, processing it. I mean, that whole thing for me is just a sacred ritual almost that just, I love it. I love every aspect of it. You know, seeing the delight in my uncle's face when he shoots a deer, or my daughter, or like my grandpa, friends, you know, that for me is probably the second line of the top reasons why I love to hunt. And there's been so many times where hunting has drawn us together closer just because we're around each other during hunting season. A lot of times, life happens and life can pull you in different directions, but having that hunting season that pulls everybody together and has everybody hanging out, playing poker and eating and telling old stories and laughing and joking. I think that's another reason why I'm addicted to it. That's another reason why I love it so much. Nothing else in my life has drawn me together with my family like hunting has. And that even goes beyond the members of my family that hunt. Even my grandmother, cooking food for all of us guys, my mom asking what we saw and cheering us on, and just the whole thing, the kids that are there that are looking at the deer and want to see us gutting them, and just the whole thing, it just pulls us together as a family, and I love that, because there's not a lot of things in this world nowadays, even Thanksgiving, Christmas, the family holidays are even everybody's just getting scattered to the wind and spread out so far that it's hard to even see each other anymore, and so that drawing us close together, hunting season, is another top reason why I love to hunt. Another reason I love to hunt is deer. I love white-tailed deer. It's my favorite animal. It's been my favorite animal since as far back as I can remember, elementary school. I've always loved and been fascinated by deer behavior, deer, what they do, how they act, where they go. And this is even aside from hunting. Like I said, this is back in school, reading books about deer. I remember checking out library books, reading about deer, I knew this. I still know the scientific name or the scientific classification for the white-tailed deer, just from when I was a kid and I was studying it so much. But there's just something about deer and the way they act and how they can outwit. They're not like a possum or a raccoon or something where they're just easy to kill or easy to track down and find. They have a will to live like a lot of animals. I'm sure they do, but I don't think they don't have the instincts, they don't have the intelligence, they don't have the physical abilities like deer do. And so that's another huge reason why I love to hunt. There's always been something that I've been fascinated with about antlers. I love the tines, I love the spread, I love the different colors of the antlers. I love the way that some of them are chocolate, dark like chocolate. Some of them are lighter colored. Some of them have that beautiful brown inlaid in the antlers, whether it's from rubbing trees or just the way that the bone grew. I love the uniqueness. They're like a fingerprint, and that's another reason why I love antlers so much. They're like a fingerprint. Not a single one of their racks are the same. Not a single rack from deer to deer is the same. And I love that. I love that, that you can be sitting out there and you can see this buck and then you see another buck, and they don't act the same, they don't look the same, they're completely different animals. And there's something about antlers that I just love. Drop tines, split G2s. I could go on and on. I don't know where it comes from. It might sound crazy. There's just something mystical to me about antlers. These bones that just grow out of an animal's head, and they're there for a short period of time, and then they fall off, and then they regrow. And then to me, that there's just something crazy cool about that has always drawn me to deer. And so the antlers for me, not only big bucks but small bucks too. Antlers, when I find a shed, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's one of the most exciting things for me. Not only finding it, but taking it and using it for something, making something out of it, some kind of a decoration or useful tool of some sort. I use antlers a lot in a lot of different scenarios, and there's just something mystical about them. That's the only word that I can really use. There's something about a big gnarly buck just walking through the woods that he's king of the forest and everybody's out to get him. And it's just crazy to me that they can survive the way they do and get as big as they do, and the ones that do get that big. So antlers and deer in general, another huge reason why I love to hunt. I've always been interested in them, and I like learning about them. I like studying their tracks, the droppings, how they bed, why they're bedding here, why they're feeding here, why they're passing this food source to go to this one. What are they going to do when this crop rotation happens, or this land feature gets changed, clear cut, or somebody has some select cutting done, or whatever it is. I'm always thinking about what is that deer going to do? What would I do if I was a deer? And that's just fascinating to me, and I don't know where it comes from, but that's another huge reason why I love to hunt. Another reason I love to hunt is because of the meat. I love eating venison. I love cooking with it. I when there's deer in the freezer, we don't even buy beef. I mean, if there's deer in the freezer at all, we don't buy beef. And very rarely is there ever a time where we will go and buy beef. Now, we might buy some ribs, might buy some hot dogs for the kids, stuff like that. But if we're making anything with burger or steak, 99% of the time it is made out of venison. And my wife and my kids and a lot of my family, they would rather eat venison taste-wise than beef any day, aside from the health benefits. So the meat is another huge reason. I think it's an often overlooked reason with all the craze and antlers and inches and what's it scored, you should have let them go another year. I think the meat is often an overlooked aspect of hunting and why we hunt deer. And there's not a lot better than a big old fat taco or burger or enchiladas or something like that, spaghetti made with venison burger, or a backstrap on the grill or in the smoker. I mean, there's just not a lot of better things in the world than that. So the meat's another huge reason. Something else I love about hunting is the gear, the equipment, and even at a basic level, just basic stuff like a bow and maybe a tree stand or however you hunt. I love getting into the gear aspect of it. I think that it's something that just keeps interest in it all year round. I mean, there's always constantly something that you can be fine-tuning or changing or adding or taking away or figuring out that works or that doesn't work when it comes to your gear and equipment. And it's just another big reason why I love to hunt. A lot of people look forward to football season. A lot of people look forward to a lot of sporting events and seasons, and I just don't think that they get when it's their off season. I mean, they can look up stuff about who's getting traded to here or there, or what this team's doing or what these players are doing, but to actually be able to physically interact with their gear with that passion or that hobby is something that hunting is one of the only sports that offers that year round. I mean, you can do it in your basement, you can do it in your garage, in season, out of season, whatever. So that's another huge reason I love talking to people about gear. Cameras, tree stands, saddles, sticks, guns, bows, arrows, broadheads, all of it. I love talking about it. I could do it all day long. So that's something else that brings me closer to somebody is talking about just the gear that is associated with deer hunting. And so that's another really cool aspect of why I love to hunt is the gear. Some more reasons that I love to hunt is because I love fall air. I love the smell of it. I love the crisp, cool or cold air in the fall. I love the way that the trees turn colors. I think that fall is the most beautiful time of the year. Even if I wasn't a hunter and there wasn't a deer on this earth, I would still love fall, and I know I would. It's just by far my favorite season of all. Like I said, everything's colorful, smells good, it's cool, it's comfortable. I love wearing a hoodie, I love hoodie weather. So fall is definitely another huge reason why I love why I love to hunt. And I don't think there's much better than a nice crisp fall day where all the leaves are turning colors, falling around you. I think it's a beautiful time of the year, and it's another great reason why I love to hunt. I love to hunt because of the memories that I've made. I've made a ton of memories. This kind of ties back into the family and the traditions of hunting, but there's a lot of times too though where I'm hunting alone or I'm just hunting with a buddy of mine and that isn't family, but we're out on some piece of state land venturing out a mile or whatever, and something crazy happens that only we can share. And so those memories that I can look back on are huge, and my memory bank's piled full of them. And some of the best times I've ever had in my entire life have been out in the woods, sometimes by myself, where I can have that memory, something happened or I saw something, did something, experienced something with a buddy or family member where I can look back on that, and I just love those memories. Like I said, it's some of the best times of my life, and so the memories are huge for me as well. I love to hunt because I think it's made me a better person. I think that hunting teaches people skills that really not a lot of other things in life can teach you. A big one is humility. When you miss a deer, when you wound a deer, when you don't find a deer, when you are waiting all day or hunting for 7 days straight or 17 days straight or 70 days straight and you don't see a deer, or you don't see the deer you're after, or you don't have a shot, whatever the case may be, humility, it humbles you. Chasing these, especially whitetails, especially deer, it humbles you. It makes you realize the importance of patience and perseverance and not giving up, and just, I think that it's made me a better person, and in so many ways it's given me an understanding of nature. It's given me an understanding of having respect not only for animals but for other people, because that having that respect for those animals, I think it translates, it just kind of permeates into the rest of your life, as far as how you treat other people and other animals. And there's a lot of times that a deer will be hurt or stuck in a fence or locked up on a tree or something, and you'll see hunters trying to get it free right in the middle of hunting season. And I think that that's just having a reverence for these animals and having a respect for them. That's what hunting teaches you, and without it, I don't think you would have that same level of respect. And so that's another huge one. And not only that, you've got to be disciplined. It teaches you a lot of discipline. You've got to have the discipline to practice and keep all your gear in tip-top shape and be proficient with all your stuff. You've got to be disciplined in keeping going and not giving up. And you've got to be disciplined while you're waiting in that stand, while that deer's got you pegged up there and he's staring you down, and you've got to be disciplined enough to keep your cool and keep your calm. And so discipline is another huge benefit of hunting, and I think that it offers, only hunting will offer you that unique experience of all these different attributes when it comes to learning this stuff and gaining this knowledge and getting to be a more well-rounded person. I think that hunting is the only scenario where it's the only scenario that can teach you that the way that it does, if that makes sense. Having that closeness with family members, having that camaraderie between your hunting buddies, and getting out there in nature, having that time to release, be away from the rest of the world and release the stress that's on you on a daily basis and not have to worry about it for a minute. I think that makes you a better person. It gives you time to recharge. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I still think that having that time, that peace and quiet out there in the woods, away from everything, the rest of the noise of the world, I think it gives you time to recharge, and it gives you the room to have the capacity to deal with situations in life, whether it be people or jobs or whatever it may be. I think that hunting makes you a better person. At least it has for me. It's given me a lot of good things, a lot of good attributes that I can only attribute back to hunting. The biggest ones being patience and perseverance, never giving up, and trying to keep that mental game. A lot of times it's a more of a mental game when you're hunting, and you want to give up, and you don't want to get out of bed at 4 a.m. and you don't want to slog through that marsh again, or go out to that stand that you've hunted several times and haven't seen anything. But it gives you that mental confidence, or that clarity, I guess, to keep going. Gives you the room to keep going. It doesn't burn you out. It can burn you out, but I'm saying it gives you the opportunity to be out there, clear your mind to the rest of the world, give you the mental capacity to keep going, whether it be in life or continuing on the next hunt or whatever it may be. So I think there's a lot of benefits to hunting that are internal or mental or whatever you want to call it, that makes you a better, more well-rounded person, I guess is the easiest way to say it. I love hunting because so many things have to line up for you to take an animal successfully, and I just love that. If you think about it, if you break down a hunt that you are actually successful and you shoot a deer, there are so many things that have to go right for that to happen. And you start right off from beginning of your day or the beginning of your hunt even. You had to wake up that morning on time to your alarm clock. You had to get in your truck had to start. You had to drive to your area, or you had to walk out to your area, but you still had to get out there in time. You had to get there quietly. You had to get up the tree safely. You had to get in your stand. You had to sit there. You had to wait. The deer had to come out of the woods or out into the field, or however it happens, but it had to come out there. The wind had to be blowing the right way. It didn't smell you. It didn't see you. It got within range, and you had to move into position without being seen. You had to draw your bow or get your rifle up or however it happened, but you had to do that without being seen, heard. You couldn't make any noise. Then you had to get that bow drawn, get the sight on the deer. You had to aim perfectly. You had to hit your release or squeeze the trigger. And all these things had to line up for you to take that animal. And that to me is just, it's crazy to think about, that all those things had to happen and perfectly for you to be able to shoot that deer. And it might sound crazy, but if you really step back and look at it, that's true. Like everything had to sequentially happen just right so that you would be in the position. And even before that, you had to pick the right tree to put your stand in, or to climb up, or to sit somewhere with your pop-up or your chair or whatever it is. You had to pick the right spot, and you had to be there when that deer decided to walk out. I mean, there's so many things that had to happen, that had to add up for you to have a successful hunt. And that's something that just draws me to hunting year in and year out. I love that part of it. I built a few engines in my life, and it always amazed me when I took all these little pieces and parts and I put it together and I heard that thing fire up. It was always a super cool moment. It was always just a sigh of relief, like a success. You're ecstatic, and that it's kind of the same thing. All these little pieces had to add up and had to happen for you to successfully shoot an animal. And I just think it's one of the awesomest things about deer hunting. And so all these things, guys, is why I love to hunt. And I probably missed some. I've only got so much time here on my drive home, but why don't you guys tell me some of the reasons why you guys hunt? Let me know what draws you to the woods every year. What is it that keeps you coming back for more, that keeps you studying to get better, that keeps you interacting with other people? What is it about hunting that drives you and that makes you want to keep coming back for more? So leave me some comments down below. Again, I appreciate you guys for being here as always. Smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.